today is the day we are finally going to finish up and test our new year, new you butt kicking machine. So this could be a rather interesting stream. So I'm glad to see so many of you guys joining because I'm going to need all of your help, like all of your help to try and finish this and troubleshoot some things that we encountered the last time. So I saw David Beck from Texas has joined. Nick, haven't seen you in a while. Talk to you. I know you are in social media land a lot. And then we have Dave is back. Greetings from Denver. Ernesto. And hello, he is early now. And then Dave Wells. So welcome all of you guys. We also have Dave Conisto, greetings from Denver. So yes, he is a double. I don't know why my chat showed you twice. Maybe you're going to be extra helpful tonight, so hopefully. I'm Rachel DeBarros, and thanks for watching Gearhead Diva. All right, so let's get started. I was really busy all week long to try and get this to kind of like a point where we can wrap it up together, and it's tough to decide like how far to take a project and, you know, call it quits so we can have some things to work on. So let's see, perhaps I will start with what we got going on over here, and I'm gonna move this out of the way. So here you can kind of see what we were working on last time. You might recognize this base. It's painted black now. It's a chalkboard paint. And we had a ton of great ideas thrown at us, like make it all fur. Can you imagine a column made of all fur? I could have made it like all shag fur, you know, very 70s butt kicking machine. We had camo, and that's a great idea too. So I figured in a week, what's easiest to, you know, get a hold of, and chalkboard paint was it. But I always save all of your guys' ideas, you know, for future projects. And then David Beck says, got your back, Rachel. Yes. So I need as many of you guys getting my back as possible today. And then you can see that I made a nice little wood trim here, and you can see this is like naked up here. Like, what's going on up here? This is what we're gonna figure out, this up here part. And then if we travel along, I have clamped down our thigh. This is our thigh. And way over here is our shin. That's gonna be doing the kicking. And off screen here, we're gonna put some kind of shoe situation on it. And you may recognize this. This is our pneumatic cylinder portion, and we even made a piston for it right here. And it goes in like this, and it'll kick our leg. Now, obviously, this is like way too long, and I've already marked it, so I know where we have to cut it with your help, and I believe it was Gel or some of you guys that went through and helped me figure out how to figure out where to cut this thing. And the trick was to get it, the leg, to extend where you want it and pull the piston all the way out, and that's your cut point. So I think that's gonna work out pretty marvelously. But the cool stuff is kind of inside here. So we're gonna switch cameras, and I wanna show you what's going on. So first, let me see if I can turn this. There's stuff behind me. And Gel is saying, my birthday is February 9th. Oh my gosh, happy birthday, Gel. Celebrate, man. Go all out, especially, you know, it's 2021. All right, let me see what I got going on here. That is gonna fall. I'm making a bet right now. That is gonna fall before the stream is over, like, you know, usually on my head. So that's where that's going. So if you take a look inside here, we have our cylinder coming in, and then it comes out, and we stuck with our 90-degree elbow. And there was an idea, and I think it was David Beck and a couple others that suggested doing a 45 and having the cylinder kind of aimed up, you know, but probably further down and aimed up and hitting the leg that way. So that way the air wouldn't have to make such a harsh turn. There was ideas of doing 245s, but I figured, you know what, let's test this 90 first, because doing potato guns, I've always had luck just making really wild turns, and it seems to always work for me. So we'll see if my luck doesn't run out. So then after that, we have our 90-degree elbow, and then we have an adapter here that screws into the electric sprinkler. And I'm gonna try and give you guys a better view of this electric sprinkler, but it's got two wires which will hook up to our foot switch right here. And this is the thing that we built at the very beginning. It was like the very first thing that we built before I even conceived of such a design. And so we'll hook these wires up to our foot switch, so that way I stamp the foot switch and it engages the butt kicking machine. So of course our sprinkler valve here, electric sprinkler valve, has this solenoid, and on top of the solenoid is like a little valve that you can turn like that. See, you can hear that. So you can close it, you can increase the airflow. So of course, you know, we're gonna do maximum airflow because, you know, go big or go home in here, right? You know, even if the piston ends up flying out and through the door, you know, casualties of work, right? So let me switch to a different camera so you guys can see the rest of this contraption. I'll be right back. All right, teleportation. And I have trapped myself. Let's see if I can do this and then do like an origami against the wall. And there we go. So I'm gonna back him up and you guys should see the base. Now, one of the things you'll probably notice right away is I matched the wooden base with the top, but you know, a little fatter. This is a 1x6 down here. But I don't think this base is going to be enough. I'm thinking I'm going to have to cut out a board like this so this thing doesn't tip forward by the time we're done with that. So that'll probably be a project. We may get to it tonight, we may not, but it's not the most important part of the build. I think for now I can certainly clamp it to the table and we're going to have a lot of fun testing it. So with our cylinder here, I'm just going to turn this guy around and give you guys a better look. So here we have our 90-degree, like I said, our sprinkler valve, which I'm going to make sure I have turned on all the way and see how it's loose. Now we know we have that, you know, maximum airflow. I don't think I had that on so much the last time. Maybe that's why we might have had some problems getting our piston to go. And of course, our sprinkler valve is attached to our air canister. And those of you joining for the first time, I see some new names. Program is back from Twitch. Awesome. And all right, checks butt padding. All right, motivational apparatus ready. Yes, indeed. That's what we're going for here. So welcome back. And so my idea was a lot of these cylinders and pistons made of PVC are operated by air compressors and solenoids. You know, obviously we have a solenoid here. It's much more, you have to do more connecting. And obviously now you're kind of like tethered to this, you know, air compressor. And what if I want to move it? It just creates a whole other thing. So then somebody also had a great idea of using an automotive air compressor, like the little mini ones. And it's something that we can kind of attach to the side. So that's a great idea. If this air tank version doesn't work or is kind of like lame, we might actually go for that. But something tells me, I don't know, I think we're going to get this going. And so this is a 2-foot air chamber here, almost 2 feet with 2-inch PVC pipe. Over here you can see I have it cleverly already hooked up to my bicycle pump, and it's got a gauge on it so I know how much I'm filling it. You definitely don't want to overfill these things, but the nice thing with this is that we had a couple ideas of what to do with this door, and I decided to create a little door with hinges that can open. Now, some of you guys had some great ideas, like just Velcro it on or use magnets and do it that way so you can just pry it off. And then I decided, you know, prying it off, now I gotta like find a place to put it, and knowing me, it's gonna end up lost. Even something like this big, I'm gonna manage to lose it. So, and then a lot of you guys have seen me losing things in the shop and it's like right in front of my face. So I have really cool bronze little hinge that we can just do that. But I'm going to keep the door off for now so we can access this. We're going to finish up the wiring here, and I need to drill a little hole of some sort or some kind of access point to be able to have my hose there, and also some kind of exit for these wires. So that's little problems. We'll get to that. So I'm going to put that guy right here so it can be extra in my way when I try and snake my way back. And what do you guys say? What will we work on first? We want to finish this like piston thing and test it and see how much power we can get out of it. And let me get this guy back over here, and now he is touching me. All right. And bring you guys back. Teleported, yes. All right, so maybe I will put this foot switch away for a second, and you can see I have my line here where we're going to be making our cuts, and we're going to do it in the most, you know, Rachel way possible. So we're going to bust this guy back out. A lot of you guys recognize him by now. It's the unattached vise that just wiggles and shakes all over the place. And so I always get asked, like, why don't you just attach it to your table? A, haven't gotten around to it, and two, to keep it in view for you guys, I'm always having to move it anyways. So the next thing I'm going to do is just anchor it down to a giant board. That way I can move it around and it's less wiggly. But for now, we're going to use this little scrap wood here. It should keep him stable enough for me to do cutting. And I learned a ton from you guys in terms of using a hacksaw. Lots of cool little tricks. So let's see where my mark is. And I think it's this guy right here. Let me give you guys a better view. Yeah, I think it's this mark right here. I'm just gonna do a quick check just to be sure. And if he's in here, and then he kicks out there. Yep, that kind of works. I think that's what it was. And we're going to put him here. Oh, and I'm working opposite so you guys can see what I'm doing. So everything turns opposite. Lefty Lucy is righty Lucy for me, looking from this angle. Caesar Lynch, hey, made it late as usual. Listen, it's called fashionably late. It's best to be fashionably late than, you know, not arrive at all. So I'm happy to have you. Gabriel is here, and he's greetings from Brazil. My wife just walked behind me and asked what I was watching. So, and she didn't believe that it's a butt-kicking machine. Oh, yeah, people, it is indeed a butt-kicking machine. So I don't know how you're going to explain that one, but, you know, somehow, maybe, like, have her come in when we're getting towards done. Or not. This might be a huge fail, and that would be embarrassing. And then J. Dale, measure once, cut twice. That's exactly what we do here. A lot. Like, a lot. But the problem is, I always get rewarded by doing that. The project always works out in the end. So, I don't know. It's life's got to punish me a little bit more. So, nice, cool tip that I learned from you guys. Starting a hacksaw, it's, you know, kind of wobbles around. So, you guys always said, pull towards you to get that first nice cut. You guys are awesome. So, let's continue this. And it's a little wiggly, but we'll do it. Let me try and grab this. And put this aside or completely out of the way. I mean, this table, like, over here, it's, like, out of view, but whew, you guys don't want to see it. It's pretty bad. And Brian Palmer, hi, Rachel. Awesome. Hi, back. Coping saw, but it works. So who's going to be the guinea pig is what Steve Cudryan is asking. And I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your last name. Who do you think is going to be a guinea pig? I don't see anybody else around, so I don't know, maybe I'll get a pillow or something. Yeah, I might need a pillow. Put like a layer of safety. All right, let me put this. Something tells me we're going to need him again. So all I'm going to do is oil up our O-ring here. And you guys all remember this O-ring. We built this piston from a 1 1/4 inch cap, 1 1/4 inch adapter that goes down to a 3/4 inch. I mean, a 1/2 inch piece of PVC pipe. So that's a 1/2 inch adapter. Now, I'm not really using any threads on this. The entire unit here is cemented, primed and cemented together. One of the problems we had while testing it is I didn't want to cement things right away because, well, we didn't really know, you know, if we were going to have to cut things. So I just decided might as well keep things kind of long. So once I figured out of the measurements, it is cemented. So hopefully we won't have any air leaks. The air is going to come and hit this O-ring. So there's no real air consideration here. So as long as this thing doesn't pop off, we're pretty good. So I'm just going to oil up our O-ring here. So that way we don't get too much friction it'll glide pretty nicely. And I'm going to switch cams for you guys. There we go. Come out this way, and you'll see that I have a end cap to put on here, because the last thing we want is for the piston to go flying right out of the tube, and not only will I get hit with the shoe, I'll get hit with this, and you know, not too comfortable. So I'm going to stick this in here, and I found that if you just wiggle it and put it in on a diagonal, it lets air escape enough so you can, you know, seat it properly. And then here's our end cap that screws on, so that way we can remove and service the piston. You know, say something breaks in there or it's not the right size, we can always remove it. All right, so that's pretty turned. Now this is not going to engage our piece of wood because I kind of have it offset, so that way we can just see if this thing even works. So the idea here is that I'm going to, let me just make sure everything is set. And making sure my my air's to the max. And grab my batteries. So all I'm gonna do is pump this thing up. Whoop. I turned it too much. Too much, people. Well, at least we know it works. Check that out. So let me turn it some more. Tough to, there we go, turn from back here. Well, at least I'm happy to see it work, which is much more than what we were getting last time. I do admit I was a little bit concerned that our unit was not cooperating, but we indeed did have that many air leaks. So let me just remove this cap so we can let some air out. See if we can push this piston back in. There we go. And so the nice thing with this cap, I drilled a hole in it right in the center, so it helps keep it all aligned. So let's see why this is leaking air. So I have it at about 30-ish PSI. Let's see what happens here. And all I'm gonna do is, you'll see that I have a trifecta of 9 volts. This requires 24 volts to operate. This is 27. Not a great idea to put more volts than you need because it will use them and it could fry the unit. Now amps is a different subject. It'll only take the amps that it needs. So you can always provide more amps, but not more voltage. But because we're just doing some quick tests, I think we're gonna be okay. Yeah, famous last words. Let's see. So all I'm gonna do is, because I have these batteries hooked in series, is just touch the battery terminals, and I'm gonna use my leg to not let this thing tip over in case it is just so powerful. I might have made an error. That might be a little forceful, guys. That's like if I really am bad at keeping New Year's resolutions. I was thinking more of like a little tap, a little massage on the derriere. Guys, whose stupid idea is this? Who came up with this idea? I blame whoever came up with this dumb idea. And Gel says, I'm concerned with the amount of PSI. Yes, indeedy. So 25 to 30 PSI is what I use for potato guns to launch those things really far. So the idea here is to figure out what PSI is, safe. And that may be like something like 10 PSI, where it'll just give it, a bit of a knock. Also, I'm gonna put a pillow to my bum. But one thing that I'm really super impressed is that I really didn't think having something hooked up to just an air tank like that would produce enough power, especially going through a 90-degree elbow, to actually engage that thing with any speed like we saw. So that is pretty cool. I was half thinking we were probably going to have to just go back to some kind of air compressor scenario. It's okay, maybe 7 psi. Yes, Michael Short. So we're going to have to figure out some kind of psi situation. And even, listen, if I just use it for myself, it's fine. But obviously, if you're building one for yourself, you definitely don't want anyone to get hurt. So put some kind of PSI regulator on it. So that can be a cool version 2.0 idea that we can, infuse. So Dave Canisto, $5 super chat. Thank you. Thanks for your super chat. Every little bit helps contribute to these ideas. So I don't know if everyone else on the stream is thanking you or going like, oh, stop it. Stop helping her come up with this kind of stuff. But thank you. All right, so we have our piston, and I think, what do you guys think is next? Should we cut up our thighs and our shin situation here so we can start attaching a shoe to it? Ooh, I think so, yeah. So I'm glad you didn't get hurt. Yeah, that's why I'm standing right here behind the thing, and then if something were to happen, it's gonna hit the door. I plan to stand behind this until we figure out the PSI situation. All right. Why did you answer the phone? I missed it. All right. Oh, Carl James is here. Seems to be the perfect pressure to use on dishonest politicians. Yes, we can. This has several uses. Let's see here. Now, the knee, I went ahead and marked it just to kind of get things going. I think the shin will be the right size. So I'm going to put that aside. And I'm going to go ahead and cut up our shin. I'm just going to leave that there so I don't forget about it. And move him kind of out of the way. Let's put you over here for now. So I have room to cut because we're going to be using my same situation here. Now the best way to cut this obviously is a miter saw. But depending on where you guys live, here in the Northeast, we're having some snow situations right here. So I don't have a dust collection system. That's actually a project I'm thinking for the future, is building some kind of DIY dust collection. So I do all of my really messy cutting outside. I kind of don't feel like sitting down in, 3 feet of snow or whatever it is by now. So let me open this up all the way. We're going to use the old hacksaw, to cut this. And is that about right? Almost. And let me put my little thing there. I always end up wanting to build projects, and then I just don't do the usual shop stuff. That would make for a boring stream. Let's do shop organization. Am I going the wrong way? I'm going the wrong way. So, let's see. Ernesto, could it work without a flexible shaft on the side of the air piston? Without a flexible shaft. I imagine you mean without a flexible shaft. I'm trying to think of what you mean. Do you mean my bicycle pump with a flexible hose or flexible shaft? Clarify. Yeah, I agree, man. The snow came down fast for Robin. So if you guys know what Ernesto means, flexible shaft on the side of the air piston. So I did think about moving that bicycle valve to the side so that way I'd be able to direct connect versus down. But I ended up putting it there. I really don't know why. So perhaps on the side would have been a better design, because then you can cut a hole through the door and then be able to access it that way. Nuclear Banana is back. Your show really kicks butt. No, yeah, it does, quite literally this time. And thank you for your super chat. Like I was saying, some people are really happy, or they're like, stop supporting this stuff here. But I'm always happy to have you guys come aboard. I'm trying to talk over the sawing. Let's see how straight I get this. I'm terrible at getting it straight. Let me just see my line. And perhaps give you guys a much better view. Over here. Whoop, back it on up. Am I hitting this thing? There we go. Get it out of the way. All right. Well, that went flying, which is good. So, people are asking me what shoe I'm going to use. And I'm actually going to give you guys a choice. I just pulled out 2 random shoes, and we can always change shoes. So high heels, please. Did you see how this thing launched? The last thing I need is a high heels on this thing. Someone said clown shoes. So I actually like the clown shoes because the end of the clown shoe is very round. It's a lot of surface area, but that helps to kind of distribute the force. So you're not getting that point force right at your derriere. So I'm going to give you guys 2 options. And I mean the movement made by the shoe support. It is in the shape of a pendulum and the piston pushes straight. All right, let me put this away and I'll get right back to you. All right. I need to hook up my Discord so we all can post like pictures and stuff of what we're talking about. All right, so I have our thigh, our chicken thigh. All right. Oh yes, before I forget, let me give you guys these shoe options. So I have a nice soft little zombie shoe. See, he is losing his little eyeball here. So we have soft slipper zombie shoe, or we have kind of like regular shoe. I tried to pick things that weren't super heavy because I don't know, I didn't, see how this force situation was going to be, but I think it now can handle like a boot or something if I had something like that. I have your typical like Converse shoe as well. So start voting. Super cozy zombie shoe. Hint, 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 hint. And then we have our Converse shoes, and then we have our Vans shoes. So let the voting begin, and then I'll kind of do like a informal tally at the end. All right, KX Steve. Drill a small hole on the non-pressurized side of the piston. When the O-ring, I know where he's going, past it will bleed off some of the pressure. That's true. That's one of the things that I noticed was like pushing it in is like hard. And the way I found to depressurize is just simply turn it on on an incline and kind of push it up on an incline. That way it creates an air gap where the air can come out. So I even thought about putting like a T, so this goes this way, but a T, and connecting it to a ball valve where you can just and let that air leave. That way you can push it and that air exits out, and when you want to use it, you crank the ball valve closed. So that's another idea that was kind of like, churning in my head. But yes, good idea to put like a little, hole in there. All right. So David Beck is already voting the zombie shoe. And LA's whole idea, yes, zombie shoe. Okay, so we are getting a couple zombie shoe requests, which, I thank you for that. So what I'm trying to do is center this on top of our thing here. And I'm going to clamp it down and screw it in. So at least we have our shin in place. Whoop, wrong lever. So let's get to drilling. And get my drill bit out. These screws require like I think it's like a Torx bit, so I'm going to leave that out. And let's see, what size is good for this guy? Do this. Ears. All right. These are getting pretty bad. They're really scratched up, but you know, I'm gonna see. It'll be good, people. All right, I'll start here. Move it just a hair. All right, we got to vote for the Chuck Taylors. And we have Gordon from Brazil. Awesome. Hi, Gordon. And he is saying, good night from Brazil. And he likes this channel a lot. Congratulations. Well, thank you. Love having you guys come aboard. Couple more for the zombie shoe. Could put a whoopee cushion on the end. Okay, now you are stepping it up, Robin. Oh my gosh. Oh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Right, let's get another guy in here. All right. So I got 2 screws in here. I'm gonna put 2 screws in here, and that should be enough such that we don't need like some kind of support, because I don't want to get in the way of this. And then I have an idea. See how this kind of like swings around? I have an idea for that, but you too be thinking of ideas for it as well, because I'm liking some of your ideas. Drilling a hole in the cylinder to help out. That would be good. And Robin is saying he's giving these ideas because he know I do it. Oh, you're right. We got more for the zombie shoes and the whoopee cushion. Oh gosh, now Robin, you got somebody helping you out now. Now everyone's chiming in with the whoopee cushion. I don't have one. I'm gonna have to go get one now. That'll be for next week's stream. You know I will. I can't resist. And oh, another one. So Carl James brought up a really good thing from the last time, and then that was the return spring on the back here. So say once it hits, it returns itself back into position. But I think with that, we'd still have the pressure issue. That spring would be trying to push against the pressure. And the other idea I held off on the spring was our test went so poorly. I mean, we didn't even get this thing to move. And I thought that after cementing it, it still wasn't going to move. Now it's got to fight a spring on its way out. So I have this as a screw on so that way we can unscrew it and still put a spring, because in also retrospect, that might help slow the piston down as it's shooting out. It hits the spring and begins to slow it down so it just doesn't, you know, stop like that. So the spring, I'm actually, like, I had thought against it. I voted myself against it. Now I'm kind of voting for it after seeing how that situation went. So thanks for bringing that up, Carl. I'm going to keep it in the back of my mind. I have a spring kit here, but I did try out a couple of them. None of them fit, so I'll have to order that separately, you know, for our secondary test. So now I don't need this anymore. That's pretty good. Let me move it out of the way. I'm gonna go clamp it on this end of the table. Be right back. It's not like I can hide. You guys can like hear the squeaky, squeaky, squeaky of it. So let's see how we're going to do this and bring you guys along with me. So this is going to be like this. And I'm just thinking that I probably should have not attached it, because what I want to do is take this piece of wood, which I have a little remnant here that I can show you guys. So what I want to do is take this piece of wood and notch it here. So that way this works like a real knee. This will sit inside the notch and swing. And then we can use like a really long bolt, something like this, you know, that goes through and, you know, bolts it together. Welcome, Rain, new subscriber. Thanks for joining the channel. You have joined at the right time. In that, you know, you didn't see the horror of what just happened. Only some of us are privy to that. So I think that this will fit, and then it'll be almost like a lag bolt that goes through that piece of wood. And so that means we have to drill through something this thick. I think we can do it. Let me see what my drill bits look like. And do it over there unless I unattach this thing. So I kind of got ahead of myself with the project, which happens. All right, I think maybe something like this. It's got to swing pretty freely, so I'm thinking a little bit of a fatter drill bit. What do you guys think? Do you think that, I don't know, I might be able to freehand it? Let's like freehand it all the way through? I don't know. I rush through, and that's what you get. Except I do it all the time, and then somehow it just works out, and I'll get rewarded again, which means I'll do it again anyways. Let me get rid of this drill bit. And then Art said at the auto parts store you can get a spring that goes inside a radiator hose. It's weak but should fit inside your tube. You are so right. That's probably going to be one of the better bets, because it is weak, but it'll just give us enough stopping power so that thing doesn't, you know, be too aggressive. It's too aggressive right now. All right, so what do you guys think? Should I freehand it? I need to cut the notch though first. So should I cut it with this? Let me switch cameras. Oh, I just created something. This is going to be kind of a weird cutting situation to notch it. I mean, it could be done. It could be done. Let me draw an outline. This is where things can hit a major fail. All right. And my pencil is somewhere on here. And if you guys see it, that's up. Oh, here it is. It fell. In typical fashion. So let's see what we can do. Right here. I want to notch this. That way you can swing freely, and it won't be to the side or to the side. It'll be like smack in the middle where it's going to hit our piston right there. So I think I'm going to go for it, guys. I think I'm going to go for it. All right. It's just so awkward. You guys don't have a great view, but that wasn't awkward at all. It actually went really quickly, so. Not too confident there. Right? Cut it a little over. So now we just have the cross cut to do, so I'm going to use the drill for that. David Beck, you can do it! Mark with the extra piece of wood, yes. So we went ahead and did that, but unfortunately you guys can't see my little marks here. Kind of a weird angle, so it's gonna be kind of weird, but we're gonna go for it. All right, we got one hole. I'm gonna do another. This is not going to look pretty, but we don't need it to. All right, now it's getting in between the holes, which is the tough part. Unless I go with a bigger drill bit. Ha 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 ha. And join all the holes together. Let's try this guy. You can do it with a Cajun accent from David Beck. Cut the air chamber down. Oh, Mark is saying cut the air chamber down to 1 foot. With this design, it's easier to add pressure than attenuate it. That is true. Then you have room for the automotive air compressor inside the box too. Yep. Nice compact design. Another great idea. You know, it's going good when you hear all that crunch. There we go. Don't look pretty, but it might be enough. Let's see. Yeah, so now it can go like that inside the little slot here. So all we have to do now is try and drill straight through, and I'm going to try and hold the drill as straight as possible. You can do it with a Joyzy accent from McGee. Art says, how can you add super chats? I believe there's like a button on the bottom that's got like a little $sign. I think that you can add a super chat. All right. Whoop. And oh yes, we are merely... Actually, I'll do this first. The hard thing first. I'll do this first. Here we go. And let me see. I kind of want it like that. There we go. All right, we got one. Came out the other side. All right, that should be good. Now we have to do the same here and just kind of do him in the middle. Just like that. Something like this. I'm kind of guesstimating. So let's see if we can get this now. So I just have a regular screw washer and then a nut and a washer. So let's check it out. Oh, it's very woody, wood chippery in here. All right, now it's trying to match up the holes. There it comes out the other side, guys. Uh-oh. Oh, it's hitting. I need to make it a little bit more. Oh, it's the wood chips. All right, if I clear those wood chips. Although, guys, look at that. It almost acts as a natural stop. Oh, I just broke the wood chip. So now there is no natural stop. I was hoping there would be something to help not to, you know, woo, go all the way. But the nice thing, too, is that, can you imagine if this gets hit so hard, it actually flips backward and the machine kicks its own butt. Now that's a project. Oh yeah. Kind of a useless machine, one that just kicks its own butt, but it's totally something I would come up with. That's all me. Should put a lock nut on it. Yes, is what Robin is saying. You guys have all these good suggestions. And all right, I'm not going to tighten that all the way up just yet. Yes, because over time this is going to start to budge, especially with the vibration every time that it receives a kick from the piston. So it looks like we're pretty good here. Maybe it could be a hair shorter, but I'm going to leave that for now. And I was kind of concerned of the flipping backwards, but that's not too much of a problem. So just have to get this to not dance around, but I have an idea for that. All right, so it looks like we have our thigh and we have our shin situation. We just need to put a shoe on here. And again, in typical fashion, I should have done this like before, you know, hooking it up, but you know, typical, it's me. So for a shoe, or a foot, I should say, I have some different, let's see, that might be a little too long. Like this soup is just right. You know, maybe something like that. Yeah. That should be enough to put a shoe on it. So you guys had said either slippers, and I can grab some packing tape too. That way, so that would look like that. Oh my gosh. So, and then we have original. So I want to make sure that our shoe would be easy to kind of put on and off. One thing about this one, it's got the laces, so we might be able to tie the shoe real tightly against this pole so that way the shoe doesn't go flying, especially the way this thing was kicking. All right, so let's think of a way to put this on, and I'm going to do it the easiest way possible, which is just to create a butt joint. Not always the most strongest wooden joints, but I think for our purposes it should be good. And you guys are saying, how's the snow around you guys? About 2 inches, says Gel. Oh my gosh, you're lucky. We have like a couple feet here. But my dog likes to tunnel in it. He thinks he's like a groundhog all of a sudden, and then he starts to like burrow underneath the snow. It's a lot of fun to watch. All right, what am I doing? I put this away, now I'm taking it back out again. So let's do a foot. We can't very well have a butt kicking device without a foot. Yeah, so Ernesto is saying the piston is not connected to this. I really debated whether to connect them, meaning drill a hole through this and using fishing wire and connecting to this through fishing wire, so that way this wouldn't flop up like this. So that's still in play. I might still do that depending on, you know, how these next tests go. So let's see. I think I'll just put one in for now. And I think this guy right here is pretty good. And let's go over here. Kind of do this situation right here. Let me just see. This guy right here. So he's about that. And let's do this the most dumbest way we can think of doing it, rather than on the table. Alright, let's switch bits. The bit switch. So I do have an automotive air compressor, but it's way too big. It's one of the older ones. Not very compact at all. Oh, here's my foot. My foot was already in position. So I'll get this started and then I'll deal with the foot. Whoop. So I do not recommend doing this the way I'm doing it. it worked. All right. I'm just reaching for some glue because one of the things I forgot to do was just put a little glue on that joint. So what I'm going to try and do is salvage the situation by kind of having the glue seep down into the joint. I have a tiny little split here, so I'm just going to put some glue in there. Like nothing happened. And let it sit for a little bit. So we have a foot, we have a shin, we have a thigh, we have all the human body parts. It's not real anatomically correct, but you know, it'll do for our purposes. All right, so let me grab a paper towel. I'll be right back. Step it over here away from you guys. And now I am coming back. Put that there. There we go. And hide the paper towel. Hide the mess. All right. Let me put all this stuff away because I think we're done with the drill. And we're done. And I think we're getting close to... Let's wire up the foot switch and make sure that works. Who's got 2 feet? Caesar's got 2 feet? Oh my gosh. Rach, what questions do you have for us with the project? Oh my gosh, too many. David Bex is saying maybe wrap some old socks or other fluffy stuff around the foot. Yes, I do have packing material somewhere that I'm pretty sure I can dig up, so that way there's just some cushion, towels, socks, all of that. Shop rags. Yeah, I can definitely try shop rags as well, because I think putting it on just with the wood, the foot or the shoe could just fly off the foot, you know, because there's nothing really like holding it. And we need a test booty. Yeah, unfortunately, that will be me, the test booty. Although we'll probably do it with like a piece of like wood or something in the way until we adjust the air pressure, or I can unscrew it and we can try the 1-inch canister as well, so we're not fighting the air pressure all the time. Put this guy in here so I don't lose him. And he's sideways. All right, put him aside and say goodbye to you. I love saying goodbye to stuff and just kind of push it over there. And we're done with these scraps. So the foot switch. For those of you that have not or weren't at the very first stream that, you know, we did to start this whole thing, this is the foot switch that we came up with. I'm going to move him over here and move these guys. And the idea here is to create 2 surfaces with aluminum foil that when they come in contact will close the electrical circuit and allow electricity to flow to the solenoid. Simple concept. I don't know why words are tougher than coming up with the words tougher than the actual doing of it. So what I did here is I have our first piece of plywood, and I have it covered in aluminum foil, and what I did was use a spray adhesive to try and get this aluminum foil as flat as possible, not too many bubbles. I tried to push down all the wrinkles because we don't want the 2 of them touching. Then I have this little spacer here that we cut out together. I'm gonna put that in there, and one of the concerns that I had was 1/4-inch plywood in such kind of a small piece, this is a 1 foot by 1 foot, is rather tough, and I might not be able to get these 2 pieces to touch with a wooden spacer. We did the last time, and I'm thinking that we're probably going to be good, but just in case, I might have to replace this with some kind of foam tape, so that way the surfaces are closer together and it only takes a little bit of a foot punch to get it going. So with this guy, you can see that the aluminum foil is rather kind of, you know, bubbly. So I want to go ahead and get it kind of adhesive. Yeah, adhesive, that's the word. And you'll notice this side, I did the chalkboard paint as well, so we can put different messages and things. And I thought the chalkboard paint would be a good way to keep track of how many times we've broken our resolution. I'm gonna move this guy out of the way and instead do our guy here and use a little bit of this spray adhesive here. It gives you just enough of a touch to kind of grab onto it, but it's nothing like super permanent. Yeah, Cartman, it'll kick you right in the nuts. Yep. Gotta be careful walking around it. Adhered. Yes, Michael Short. That's true. It's adhered to. All right, a little bit. Mostly in the middle, because that's kind of where it tends to just kind of bow and droop, I guess is the correct word. And I want this to be like this, so this has to be like this. Okay. Gotta put this on here. I'm gonna try and flatten it out as much as possible. Oh, that just kind of fell right on there, didn't it? Uh-oh. Let's see. See if I can, flatten it out. It's a little wrinkly, but hopefully it'll work. Hopefully they won't touch. Yeah, Scotty has a good idea. Use weather stripping for household doors for the plates. That's another good idea because that's a little thinner and more forgiving than this plywood piece here. But I do have foam tape at the ready in case we end up with some problems with this. All right, so I have a little wire coming out of our first one here, and you can see that I've cut a relief on here, so that way we can have the wires escape. And I haven't figured out yet like where I want to run wires, where I want to hide wires. Today is just, let's see if we can get this thing working. And here I have a piece of tape to connect the other wire, but let me make sure that this guy sits in here pretty good. Yep, he does. So I thought I had a piece of wire all set aside for him, but if not, it's no big deal. I will go get one. Yep, I'll go get one. And a piece of wire. All right, it fell on the floor, so we'll just use him. And all I'm gonna do, come back here, is use this piece of tape. Yep, not the best way to hold it together, but it'll work for now. The wire fell off during adhesion. Yep, you're probably right. Will the aluminum foil withstand the amperage? We certainly hope so. It has so far, and I've used these same type of rigs for Halloween booby traps. You know, they're great for that kind of thing. So no problem yet, and obviously this is something that's not used a ton or without, you know, supervision. All right, so the test to see if this thing is already in contact, like for right now, it shouldn't be contacting each other. I have a little bit of aluminum foil that we can trim, but for now, right now, we should be good. If I were to step on it, we should get contact. And you can see that the middle is a little flexible. Let's hope that it's flexible enough. And the way I'm gonna test this is by using the continuity on our meter. So we should get nothing. Oh, there we go. We should get nothing right now. If we do, it means that the foils are touching and we need to find out where they're touching. Okay, so that's good. Now I'm going to try and use my elbows to push on this. Listen. All right, so if I could do it with my elbows, I should be able to do it with my foot. So we can finish wiring the rest of this. And leave this guy here. And the idea of how we're going to wire this, let me grab my batteries, my trifecta of batteries for now. I need to get a better battery situation here. I'm going to put this guy over here next to the wires and move him here. I got clamps, I got all kinds of stuff in the way. So the idea is that one wire from our solenoid here is going to go directly to one of these wires on the switch. The other wire of the solenoid is going to hook up to the battery, right? And then this remaining wire here is going to hook up to the other side of the battery. So that's kind of like where we're going with this. And we're going to make sure we have enough wire to kind of send the plate, which is going to be sitting on the floor. And I'm going to festively put, you know, just in case there's any doubt. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the face I'm going to make when we test this thing. All right, use Gorilla Tape. Yes, I'm going back. All of a sudden, my message is scrolled, so I'm trying to like catch up. So Gorilla Tape, yes, probably better than this painter's tape, but it was just kind of like, let's see if this temporarily works. The other reason I like using just the spray adhesive is if something happens with your loop, you can always pull it off. It's not that adhesive, or you know, or not that sticky, I should say. Just enough to kind of keep it together. All right, now I'm going to put this guy here. And I'm going to show you guys where I put him. So he's kind of like over there. So I'm thinking, oh, and he's upside down. So I kind of wrote as if to me rather than as if to you. So no, I wrote to you rather than as if to me. So we're just going to put him there. We're going to try and watch that we lost you. So hopefully I'll be back, and YouTube went wonky. So hopefully it'll reconnect. It looks like it did. So I'll keep watching your guys' comments to see if, you know, I'm back or if I have to restart the stream. Hopefully I'm back. And all I'm doing is just winding this with my fingers. And Robin has confirmed that I'm back on Facebook. So hopefully I'm back everywhere else. All right, David has also confirmed, David back, that I'm back on YouTube. So it looks like I'm back on Facebook and back on YouTube. All of a sudden, like your guys' chat just stopped. I was like, oh, something's going on, you know, and then everything kind of went dark over there. It could be also the weather that we're having. It's been pretty, you know, iffy. And like I was saying, I was kind of afraid of like having the stream and then having the power go out. I know a lot of people are dealing with power outages right now. All right, it looks like everyone's back on YouTube. And my scissors right here in my face. All right, we're going to do patented Rachel style electrical tape for this. You know, we're going to see if this thing works. We can do heat shrink tubing at some other time. But, you know, this is one of those projects where we're doing it just very whatever we got in the workshop style or whatever we got on my table type style. All right. So I'm going to put this guy here. And we are going directly to the solenoid, or from the solenoid to our foot switch. So let's do that first. And this one I'm going to kind of run behind, and I'm going to leave an extra length because, I mean, I don't really know where that kick thing has to be before we, you know, run out of this. So I'm going to make my stuff extra long. Also, where I want to run it down here, I might run it out the base and kind of snake it. If I decide to put a nice base around this, I might run it through there and kind of hide it underneath, make a little channel for it. So that's an idea too. But for now, let's just cut this all really, really long. And oh, let me not forget to take you guys with me. Come along. All right, so I'm going to imagine that I'm going to be standing kind of here. Right, so let's move this guy over here. Hopefully he's still within your view. There goes our, I want to make this real long. Let's just make this like that. And it's all curled, so it's a lot longer than it looks. And I'm going to get down here. cutters that are seen better days, or wire cutters. And I'm gonna pick a switch plate, doesn't matter which one, I'm just gonna pick this one on top that's also got the black wire. And I'm just going to loop them together. Oh, and I forgot my electrical tape, so I'll have to go back and get that. But I'm just gonna intertwine them. Just like that. And that should be that. Let me grab some electrical tape. Now, someone, I forget who, was asking about the safety of doing this jobber right here, which is the, trifecta of 9-volt batteries. The non-safety aspect of it really comes in that you can potentially damage your sprinkler, which is only made for 24 volts. So you never want to send more volts than your unit actually takes. Now, more amps is fine. It's just going to use whatever amps that it needs, but voltage, that could fry this. But because we're just doing a couple quick tests, like I said, we should be good. We should be good. Yeah. And if we're not, then no, let's not think like that. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be good for testing purposes. Oh yes, let me cut off a piece here and just kind of cover our connection over there. Ooh. And that looks totally legit, people. This entire project looks totally legit. All right, it really doesn't matter the color. So this next one here, let's do from the solenoid to the battery. So we can actually just kind of tape this guy over here. Let me just try and run some electrical tape so that he's there. And let me switch for you guys to see what it is that I'm doing and move myself. There we go. Let's see if we can get this guy like nicely tight. Okay, so this one is going to the switch, this one's going to the battery, and let's see if I can loop him over and get him to be nice and tight. I don't know, this tape's not sticking too good or too well. All right, that should be good enough. It's always Rachel's and her good enough. It's good enough until something burns down. All right, now we're gonna go from the other side of the battery to the foot switch, but I'm gonna go start over at the foot switch and then work my way back here. All right, first let's strip. Nice blunt wire cutters. All right, come with me, and you too. All right, guys, back down here. I like this project. I don't have to like worry about remembering the heat shrink tubing and having to cut and start over again like last time. Remember, I forgot it twice in a row. All right, a little bit of electrical tape. Oh dear, where does it end? Where does it start? Oh, there we go. This is like the sidekick scissors. There we go. A sneaky little drawer there. This looks super pro. Thank goodness you guys are all the way up there. It looks terrific. I promise. Alright, I'm going to have to snap some close-ups for you guys because this is the thing that you don't want to hire an electrician to do something in your house and then the joints look like mine. You know, the connections. Time to run! Alright. So here I'm going to connect this to the other side of the battery. So I'm going to be pretty generous with this thing as well. So give it a cut. Oh, now it doesn't want to cut. When the tools start fighting you, you know that your project has got problems. They're like, no, don't continue this. This is totally a bad idea. Right, this should be a little easier to wrap around. All right, now we hope that, is this any air in it? Release the valve there. Yep. So I'm going to let the air out only because I'm going to connect this, and if something shifted and our aluminum foils are touching, it's going to engage the thing. So I just wanted to pre-engage it so that's out of the way and it doesn't surprise us. All right, all I'm going to do here is just tape our battery, and we're going to do a couple tests, so hopefully nothing here should hurt this too much, you know, the extra voltage. So do as I say, not as I do. This is not good to do extra voltage. Yes, so Gel is saying cut about 1/2 inch max on the wires, which yes, because the more you cut when you pull your wire cutters, you can cut some strands. I'm pulling a little more here so I can have some more taping room. And then Ford Man 74. Hello, PA girl. Hey Ford, thanks for joining. All right, so hopefully I have good connections on these batteries. I'm not super sure, but you know what? It's taped down. And let's see if we can engage this thing, right? Let's see how we're gonna figure this out. So I'm gonna do my trick right here. Let me just switch views for you. I'm gonna do my trick here for now before we drill any holes. I need a wrench of some sort. Right here. Let's see if I can do it. Oh no, it's cooperating. It's cooperating. All right. Turn it off. Turning the dial. It's almost like extra punishment that you have to pump the air yourself. It's like extra shame, you know? All right, so let me start this guy here. And one of the things I definitely have to do is take the wiggle out of here. And a lot of that is that I didn't put a support in here for our air tank yet because I didn't know if I was going to keep the air tank in case nothing happened. Like maybe the piston wouldn't even move and then I was going to bag the whole air chamber idea. But let's see if this guy were like here, and I'm just going to hold him in place. And I have, oh, where's my, I'm going to put this guy and give you guys a better view. And I'm only going to do like, this looks like 10. So let's just do 10 and see what that looks like. So that's that. And let me clamp him down to our, oh, where's my giant clamp? Giant clamp time. I'm going to clamp him down to the workbench just in case. Just in case. And I'm going to move him forward. There, so I can clamp him down. This can fall into the very bad ideas category. So let me clamp him down. It might be kind of out of view for a little bit, but get this guy here just so he doesn't go flying too. We have enough things flying for right now, so let's keep that to a minimum. He doesn't have to be that tight. All right. So we have it filled with air. Theoretically, the battery is hooked up, and I have to come up with a better, oh, I have an idea. But we'll get to that. One moment. Oh, yes. All right, guys. Here we go. That's it. That was anticlimactic. You know what? 10, though, seems to be the way to go. 10. Whoever said 10 or 7, that was the winning number. That wasn't so bad. And a couple people got a run. Michael Short said it should work, and it did. So I think 10 is really the way to go. And this thing is pretty accurate. So love it, guys. It's working. So let me make sure. Let me expel all the air here. Oh, now I can't get my hand in here because it's clamped down. There we go. You hear it? Yeah, if you jiggle it, it's actually not that bad to get it back in. But the spring idea is a good idea. The hole right here is a really good idea. All right. Jealous saying you have to pump it up after every kick. We can do better than that. Yes, we could do like the solenoid, but I don't know. Something about having to pump it up is just so defeating. It's just so like, oh, it makes me not want to not do my New Year's resolution. It makes me want to stick with it. So I have an idea for this that I'm going to rig up real quick. Guys, and that is, what if I put like a little pad here? Something that's a little bit bigger that gives it more room to engage. You know, if it hits it here, it doesn't, it's such a narrow target right there. So I'm just going to cut a piece of this really, really quick. And we can just use perhaps a nail gun or something to just kind of get it into place. I'm going to move my shady battery situation over there. And then I have one final piece of decor. This guy goes like that. So actually, I can probably just hold him on the table and cut him that way. Don't have to use this fancy thing. Let's just do this. I'm going to cut a small piece like that. All right, I know you guys couldn't see that, but all I did was cut a little square, and we're just gonna stick it on there. And for that, I will need the air compressor and nail gun. So I'm gonna go grab those real quick. And give you guys a better view of me grabbing those real quick. All right, it's about to get a little loud, so cover them ears. Put a little dab of glue. Don't forget the glue this time. It's got crusties. Let's get out those crusties. That sounded like an old mattress. All right, so some of you guys have ideas. Gel doesn't like the pumping, but I find that it's extra punishment. And then Robin said, put a cap on it to hold the shaft on the arm. Put a cap on it to hold the shaft on the arm. Which, this shaft and then this arm? Or which arm and shaft are you talking about? Please specify. I might even be on the wrong part of the build. because a lot of times there's a delay. So by the time you guys are commenting, I'm usually moved ahead. Here we go. Oh, these nails might be slightly too long, but we'll make do. They're good. All right, so I think that's going to give us a little more surface area to kick. So if it hits it kind of like on the side, it's okay, or back here, it's okay. It still allows us to do our thing. So is that all the way in? I forget if I pushed it in or not. Let me release the air. So let me show you in the back here one of the things that I want to do. And I'm going to shimmy in front of you guys. It's like rude, getting right in front of you. But I'm going to turn this guy around like this, and hopefully, ooh, the battery. Come here. Shady battery. Shady battery. See how it kind of just flops like that? So one of the things I can do is, well, first of all, bring him a little closer so I have a place to put my shady battery contraption. And I think we definitely are going to need a base because this thing will just fall forward. So I'm going to calculate what kind of base we need, and I'm going to just remove this for now. So even if we have him more like that. Oh, just like I said. Oh, base. We need a base. And there goes my shady battery situation, which I'll rehook up. This is like the project's way of saying, like, you know, you've gone far, you've gone too far. And then that's when I just have to like push it that one little bit more. So anyways, one of the things that I was thinking of doing is putting like some support pieces of wood to help keep this thing in place like that, and then it wouldn't move around anymore. So I think I'm going to do that, but that 1-inch canister is very tempting as well, although we pretty much have the pressure situation under control. So the more this is allowed to do this, the worse. So if we put in some spacers here to keep it from doing that, that's going to solve basically all of our problems there. So let me turn him back around, and I have something more fun to work on for the moment, and we can come back to that idea. Let me just untangle now everything I've done. There. And my foot is crooked from the fall, but we'll uncrooked him in a moment here. Let me reclamp him, because clearly he likes to fall forward, and I'll get a nice size base for him. All right. Let me remove the wire off the kick-me. But guys, we've done a lot. We got this thing working, and get him further. What just fell? Oh, the clamp. All right, so now he's back where he needs to be, and let me reclamp in a moment, but he's kind of sitting there. So, have you guys decided between the zombie foot and the non-zombie foot? All right. You don't have a DC volt supply, no, but I will slowly but surely. We're getting this shop together, slowly but surely, from gel. I think she means so the part where the piston hits the leg doesn't keep falling off. Yes, I was hoping this little thing. There we go. This little piece of block here would do it for me. Stay right there. I will clamp you down in a moment because I wanted to figure out so that way we can finish the look of this thing. And let me move him actually closer to me. This is my protection board that I had here that we didn't need once we turned everything down to about 10 psi. And let me bring you close to me just so I can watch you. Beady eyes, keeping an eye on you. There we go. All right, stay there. All right, so the jiggling air canister is, definitely something that I have to tighten up a little bit. But I figure before I do that, let's get this thing dressed up. It looks pretty, shoppy. It doesn't look like something that is polished. So let's polish it up a bit. Here you can see it's kind of gnarly. I kept it that way so that way we can attach the rest of the leg. But an idea I had was, what if we were to dress it? Like dress it up like a real pant leg, like that, and put a real shoe on it. So I thought that would be pretty cool and give it some texture, although I don't think that my pant leg is long enough. Let's take a look here. I may have to, oh yeah, it's, you know what? It'll be a capri pant. A capri, very stylish, and then we'll put our shoe on here, and that should be pretty good. So, function before functionality. And then Art is saying, drill a hole in the end of the piston and run a zip tie around the leg. Yes, so this is one of the ideas that we talked about earlier in the show. Was my concern was that this was going to hit the leg and with such force that the leg was actually going to flip back on itself and then kick its own butt. Like the butt kicking machine was going to kick its own butt. And so the idea was to drill a hole here and drill a hole on the leg, run some fishing line or a small cable, so that way these two would always be connected and you wouldn't have to worry about that. But now that we have things down to about 10 psi, it is not so bad. And my little footsie got damaged in the fall. I'm just going to screw him back in. There we go. The foot is back. So let's see if we can clothe him, and I even have like a cool belt. And we'll see, you guys have a couple more minutes to decide between the zombie leg and also the zombie shoe, and then the other thing. What are my shoe options? These two were the ones that you guys liked the most. So you either have the zombie shoe or the Chuck Taylor. So you can decide between those. I'll leave them here. And it seems like last I checked, the zombie shoe was the one that was winning out. So let me do a quick cut here. And we're going to use these pair of jeans to cover up our, very woodworking, not so great woodworking skills looking thing here. If it's all covered up, no one is going to know or be the wiser. They're going to think that, like, wow, this must be totally well put together. We'll have to decide on another battery pack. This triple battery thing is just temporary. And all I'm doing is just cutting down the pant leg right here. Let me move myself, because this will allow us to slip the pant leg on and off much easier. All right, it looks like the zombie shoe is winning big time here, big time. So we'll go there. And so this will be kind of like a lounging butt kicker. And where am I? Oh, I'm going up the inseam. And we're almost there. And then I'm going to go up the zipper. It has no zipper. It's a jeggings. Oh my gosh. Even better. Didn't those things go out of style, jeggings, or are they still in? I don't know, guys. One of you guys are going to have to consult on that. Let me know if they're still in or not, because I don't even know. And this fabric here, I'm going to have to go around because it's being difficult. All right, so let's see if we can put our pants on our machine and give you guys the better view of this. Something like that, right? And then it's like a knee high because we have an unusually long shin. And let me get this thing cut all the way. And I'll figure out what to do with this other leg in a bit here. Don't tip forward. And it's funny because at the beginning of the build, that's the one thing where I was like, this thing might tip. All right. Come here, pant leg. I'm going to squeeze you through. This is one of those, the idea could be good or it could be lame. We'll see. It's going to be one of them. All right. So this actually worked out pretty well. And this is what I'm going to do now that I see what I'm going to do. All right, I'm just seeing where I have to cut. So we have here, and then in proper theme, we're going to cut along the butt area. Let's see. Where was I? So I cut up the inseam, and I just want this part of the pant. So I'm going to cut around this area. Get rid of this pant leg altogether. And then what I'm going to do is, well, this is kind of like flappy now, so let's figure out a solution for that. And I have this Velcro. So we can just use that, and we can Velcro the pants together. So I'm going to do a couple pieces. We don't have to go nuts. And I'm looking for my scissors, which is like completely under everything. All right, so since we decided on the zombie slippers, I'm going to leave them out. All right. Yeah, use a staple gun to staple the pants. I'm going to do it this way first in case we have to remove the pants. Like something goes totally wrong and it's like, uh-oh, time to remove the pants. And see if this works. All right, so Jella's saying it's hard to hear you, so I'm going to enunciate a little bit louder. This will allow me to just kind of snap the pants and then unsnap the pants. Just like that. So let's put a couple pieces on there, and that should be enough. Maybe one more piece. Like that. And I think I have the furry side on this side. Then this side on this side, and that's going to help cover kind of like that gross unpainted area we have that I didn't really know what I was going to do with. So now we have a solution for that. And I thought we can loop a belt through the belt loops, and that'll make a nice border for us. So let's see how this is going to work out. Hopefully decently well. And all right, where is my belt? Let's loop it. And that should cover up the unpainted area. And I like how the butt part is up here for the pants. All right. There we go. There you are. I'm like, what happened? My capris. This ended up being more of a capri style pant than anything else. Snaking it around. All right, now I'm going to buckle it. This doesn't look half bad. I'll turn it around for you guys to see. Actually, I can turn it around just doing that. Check it out. Pull this little thing in. We have real jeans. Or jeggings. Did I say these were jeggings? Yeah, so kind of embarrassing. We'll just call them jeans. Because I think jeggings are on their way out. Lengthwise and keep the other whole. Yeah. So we got this side is still stitched up, and then this side I'm going to feel around for the Velcro. And these are a new definition to skinny jeans right here. Maybe we could put like stuffing so it looks like a real leg, or maybe that is just looking way too creepy. That's just becoming way too creepy, Rachel. So our knee, and then yes, these ended up being a capri pants. Nice little summer, you know, little summer butt kicking action. And so yeah, we have a nice belt, you know, stylish to kind of hide the fact that this is jeggings. And now the zombie shoe. So let's figure out how this zombie shoe is gonna stay on. And let me use some paper towels. I thought that went down. You know when you hear something or you think you see something from the corner of your eye? And I was like, oh, that's going down again. And I'm working in this tiny, tiny like area right here, just so this thing can get kind of like the entire view of the camera. All right. And I'm gonna stick some papers and kind of use David Beck's idea of like pretending this is a sock and just kind of wrapping it up. Skinnier cut lengthwise each side of the pant leg. All right, let me get this attached. I'll come back to Beth. Beth has an idea. And yeah, sometimes like I do need pictures to figure out what you guys need. All right, I think the foot is getting stuck in the padding, which is good. That means there's like nice padding. All right, here we have our zombie. Our zombie foot. And there we go. Let me move this out of the way and clamp it down, and we'll give it a test with the zombie foot. I'm going to move it towards this end of the table, along with my janky battery situation. All right. Let me get it clamped down. And see, Beth is saying attach the big uncut piece on the wood. Uncut piece on the wood. And the skinnier cut lengthwise on each side of the pant leg. Attach the big uncut piece. Oh, on the wood, and the skinnier cut lengthwise on each side of the pant leg. Yes. So that will make this look a little more natural, you know, because it'll actually be attached to the piece of wood rather than just kind of free-forming like this. You know, we could actually attach it to the wood is what I think Beth means. So this is pretty on there. I just want to make sure before we do this and it tips over again. So I'm thinking a base that comes at least halfway here, and we can even make the base come out much, I'm like, where are you guys? I can make the base come out much more. We can even incorporate the kicking plate into the base, you know, although that kind of takes up a lot of space. But I think a base at least like up to here and wide like this will be enough to kind of handle the vibrations and the shaking. And then also, we need to figure out the air tank. Or not figure it out, but put some supports in there so that way it's hugged inside and it's not going to dance around. But for now, it's dancing around. Let's do one more test. There we go. Get this guy in. And I believe he needs to be adjusted because he was hitting this plate square on, so I think the air tube just needs some adjustment in there, and we're going to leave him there. There we go. So what did I say? 10 psi, and let's get our batteries re-hooked up. It's kind of a scary situation here with the batteries. Our 3 9 volts. All right, we got one and we got the other, and making sure everything is still taped on. And there we go. Whoop. Yeah, so we definitely need some anchorage there. And let me move. There we go, guys. Here we go. Let's try it. So we have air. No, we don't have air. I never aired it up or pressurized it. All right, I'm going to about 10. All right, that's closer to 20, but it'll be a way for us to test our shoe. And there we go. I have a nice comfy pillow that one puts on the butt like that. That's going to be our safety bum, our safety test bum. Here we go, people. I have not followed my New Year's resolution, and it's just gone really, really bad. And for some reason, I think I should really be putting these glasses on like this. You know, there we go. So I got safety glasses on, and here we go. Oh, not so bad. Not so bad. So I think we've made huge progress. I think our butt kicking machine is a huge success in that the piston works, the piston and cylinder work way better than I thought that they were gonna work. And there was a moment where they worked a little too well there in the beginning, but we kind of toned it down. And I think 10 PSI is really the magic pressure that gets us working in kind of a fun, and it's not gonna like kick your head off type of way. We got it nice and dressed. We can put all kinds of scribblage there. I'm gonna get the back on, and I'm going to situate the back here where we can actually close this up, build a base for it so it's freestanding, as well as anchor this air chamber here so it's not doing this like wiggling thing, and it hits my little plate there square where it should hit it. But I'm liking this look. I am liking our leggings here, and I am liking the zombie foot. Let me move this back towards me here. Undo this clamp. All right. So all in all, I think this was a huge success. So Beth Merle said, yes, but you got it, yes. But it's more sturdy, I think, if we ran a strip. I think the easier thing would be to run a strip down the actual wood instead of trying to, like, you know, figure out what's going down here. And Michael Short, very nice. Art Campbell, good job. Jill says, I got a video of that. Oh no, I'm incriminated. People are going to be like, what is this person building? Oh my gosh. But I had a lot of fun tonight. I think we pretty much ironed out all the kinks. We have some amazing ideas for some version 2.0 upgrades on this, which, you know, we can always work on in the background. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and we did it. We did it. We got a working New Year, New You butt kicking device. We can keep track of all of the butt kicks on our chalkboard surface. We can write down our New Year's resolutions, so it's a constant reminder. And I'll get to working on all the version 2.0 things that we discussed here. And of course, I couldn't have done this with your help. And a special thanks to our Wrench Army members. We just had a couple people join last minute right before the stream, so welcome on board. Now that this is done, we have dimensions. I'm going to start working on the project plans for this so that Wrench Army members, you can download and build this yourself and keep customizing it, keep improving upon it, and then post back. That way I can see what you've done and see if I can one-up it. And for the rest of you, equally, thanks for joining me, all of your suggestions, all of your eyeballs, and I will see you guys next week. See ya!